We on, Fred? All right, good evening. This is the Rhinebeck Town Board meeting. This is September 10th, 2012, and we'll start with a pledge from Lillian Knapp.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Now, if you've noticed over the past 4.5 years, Lillian started doing the pledge with us, and we began in 2008, and she looks different because she started down here, and I got to get you to stop before you get taller than me. So, but that's Lillian Knapp. She also has a Little Still Pickles business, and if you're interested, call Town Hall for some pickles if you want to get the info.
Thanks, Lily.
Thanks, Lillian.
Thank you, Lily. Have a good year.
There's two, right?
Yeah. It's on the second page.
All right, good evening. For announcements, we have the new hours at the town transfer stations are Saturdays from 7 to 2 p.m. Those are new hours at the transfer station. A few other announcements in September, not necessarily in order. September 24th at 6:45 will be the regular town board meeting here at Town Hall. Community block grant from the town or Dutchess County Planning Department will be available. Applications are available at the town clerk's office. They must be completed by the October 19th. Town board to join the planning board. There's wait a minute. Town board to join the planning board, CAB, Thompson Mazzarella Park Committee on the site visit at the park on September 15th at 10 a.m. What's that about, Bruce?
We've all been working together on the plans for the park, and it's just the site visits to get everybody familiar with what's going on and look at everything. The town board will be the lead agency, so it'd behoove the town board to go if they possibly can.
Okay. This is this Saturday.
Yeah, the 15th.
At 10:30.
I never know what day it is. So.
The Rhinecliff Firehouse will have their annual chili cook-off on Saturday the 15th, also at 3 o'clock. That's from 3 to 7 p.m. This will take place at the Fireman's Field in Rhinecliff with a rain date of Sunday the 16th. Now, the Fireman's Field is not at the firehouse. It's kind of on a, what's the name of that street back there? It's Orchard Street. It's behind the old school. Valley Road, right? By the cemetery and behind the old school. Been there many times, and I'll be a judge for the chili. But you can enter chili also. If you call Town Hall for information to get contact the firehouse, that's going to happen on the 15th, this Saturday. Something new also, Rhinebeck at Home. They'll have their board of directors. Rhinebeck at Home, that's that new seniors committee, will be at the Church of Messiah Parish Hall on September 19th at 2:30. Rhinebeck at Home is a new locally based nonprofit organization dedicated for helping the members that remain in their homes and stay connected to the community as we age. Their number is 876-HOME or 876-4663. The household hazardous waste disposal will be Saturday, October 6th at the Town Hall Rhinebeck Town Garage. A $5 registration fee is required. You can call the county at 486-7340 to register. Or you can call Town Hall. We'll set you up also. Kathy's kind of leading this, right? Yeah, okay.
We're really looking forward to this. It's going to be a great event for not only Rhinebeck, but anyone from Dutchess County.
Anybody from the county can participate in this also. Just a reminder that this Thursday, the primary elections will be here at Town Hall or in your local election facility. That'll be in Dutchess from noon to 9 p.m. The local primaries, actually the national primaries, everybody's primary, noon to 9 p.m. this Thursday. Anybody else have announcements? We have the Fall Classic coming up. It's a half marathon, 10K and a 5K, and that is going to be in October, about a month ahead of the New York Marathon. You know the date of that, Bruce, offhand?
No, I don't.
You can call Town Hall for that info. I'll have that here for you, but that's expect around early October.
It's, yeah, and it's full this year. We had like more than we expected last year in the inaugural event. This year they cut it off at 1,000.
Oh.
It filled up.
So it's full?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Bruce and I spoke earlier about at the rec park, the lights are going to be left on till 10:30, until the park closes, until colder weather.
Okay. Any further announcements?
Want to show off my new bag. Yeah, I know
So
that
business
site.
before the board, we have to approve
About the thing you-
Abstract 9, vouchers V894 through V973 in the amount of $23,263.19. A motion and a second.
Motion?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, aye.
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 Opposed? So moved. Item 2 is motion to approve the budget transfers, which are none. So we have none. Item 3 is a motion to approve the capital projects, abstracts 910 of 2012 in the amount of $1,800.
Motion.
Second?
Any discussion? All in favor, aye.
Aye. Aye.
Opposed? So moved. Item 4 is a motion to approve the July 23rd and August 20th Town Board meeting minutes. Motion and a second.
Motion.
Second.
Discussion?
Yeah, I spoke to Joan about this. The July 23rd minutes were Barb's last, I think, or just among her last. There's no mention of Bruce's total compensation package in it, so I wanted to put that on record, that the minutes do not reflect that the presentation was made, so I'm not voting to put the minute. I don't know what else to do than say that and I guess abstain.
Could we just include that statement in here? Therefore, it covers a correction after.
Yes, that's why I made the statement, because Barb.
Well, maybe you can
Joan can't-
cross-reference it so somebody reading the earlier minutes would know there's something in these minutes. I think you got to do some kind of a cross-reference, see.
Put a note in the margin.
Right.
Just all to let you know that our town board meetings are now on YouTube, and they will be linked to our new website soon. As of the July meeting, we're on YouTube, and we will be on our new webpage any day now.
Right. And in connection with that statement by Bruce, that was Bruce's statement, not town board statement. You know, we just heard it for the first time from Bruce.
Correct.
Okay. Okay, so all in favor, aye?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? And abstained? One.
Abstain.
So moved. Item 5 is a motion to introduce the local law number 6 authorizing dog parks in Rhinebeck and set a public hearing date.
Motion.
Second.
Discussion.
I'll explain it. This is the dog park law, proposed dog park law. I lifted it from LaGrange, gave it to our town attorney, who made some changes, and then Joe made some changes, and I thank Joe for his changes. Seems pretty clean right now. The other thing about this, just as an aside, there's a Beneful contest where they will possibly fund your dog park if you win the contest.
Wow.
So, and I don't want to read the whole thing. There's copies of it for people. I'd like to set the 24th, September 24th for the public hearing.
Thank you for your work on this.
Yep.
This is,
Looks good.
September 24th at 7 p.m.?
Yeah.
Okay.
That'd be great.
Motion, first of all, motion and second to approve the, do we need to authorize, wait a minute here.
We have to
Yeah.
authorize the advertisement of it, and I think you have,
Right.
I'm sorry, when are we setting the
Uh,
public
motion-
hearing?
Yeah, motion and second to advertise. So we have a motion and a second?
Motion.
motion,
Second?
second.
All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, so moved. And to set a public hearing for 7 PM on September 24th, a motion and second.
Motion.
Second.
All in favor, aye.
Aye.
So moved.
Well, I think we have at 7 tonight.
Yeah, a little bit early. We have a couple items for the cemetery.
Well, the public hearings on local law 4 and 5.
Right. Last meeting, we introduced two local laws for 2012, local laws number 4 and 5. And Joe, you want to introduce those?
Yeah, local law 4 changes the residency requirement for tax collector. So the tax collector can be a resident of Dutchess, Columbia, or Ulster. And local law 5, maybe I'm mixing these up, 5 looks like the tax collector residency. 4 is to amend the town clerk residency requirement. We changed that already by previous local law to say the town clerk can reside anywhere. We're changing that to say that the town clerk must reside in Dutchess, Columbia, or Ulster counties.
That's 5.
That's
And-
5?
yeah.
Okay,
And the
so
tax
these are
collector's
mixed up.
4.
So I think we have public hearing tonight on both of those local laws. I don't know if anybody is here to be heard on those local laws.
I think we have to,
Wait till 5.
well, the second one
Yeah.
opens up at what, 5 after? Was that
Yeah,
the-
it's noticed for 5 after, so I think we maybe hold this one till we do the second one at 7:05.
All right. So we'll hold the public hearing open for a while. We'll move on to item 6. We have the two cemetery issues. One is item 6 to approve the survey on the Green Cemetery. This is an item that was brought up over the summer, and we submitted a second round of requests for surveys, so we still have just the one at, I forget what the price is.
6,000.
Over 6.
Was it 6?
Well, there was a range. It was 4205 to 5935, although it also said that it wouldn't exceed 7,000, so, but that's how it read. So there was a range, 4205 to 5935, but not to exceed 7,000.
Wait a minute, there was, my recollection is there was one bid,
That's right.
and, okay, I thought it said 6,000, but you're saying it really said...
Yeah, there was a range. It said 4205 to 5935. 5935 was the high number, and then it said not to exceed 7,000. So it's detailed as to
You don't have a
the
copy
reason.
of that with you, do you?
I don't with me, no, sorry.
Thank you, Joan. Joan has a copy.
Don't have. You can pass it around.
Yeah, so that's the survey. So it was sent out again, right? And there
Were
no
any
other.
individual surveyors solicited to bid on this?
I think there were, not by me, but I think that there were, yes.
By who?
I don't know, I mean, oh, you mean like, were they called up and? yeah.
Didn't we discuss that
Yeah.
somebody was going to call and invite surveyors to submit? I'm concerned we only have one bid.
Well, I mean, it was posted twice.
Right, but I
They know
mean, in
that they're
addition to the
supposed to.
posting, were we going to,
Yeah, but nobody reads these postings in the newspaper.
Well,
You know, if you really want bids, you gotta post it also, but you gotta call people.
well,
Ask who the bid is from.
Welsh surveying?
We've had discussion about this. I think you guys have been inordinately patient about waiting for this, and the work that you've done deserves some support. And my fellow colleague, Mr. Gelb, suggested that we actually push this into the budget process, so it's properly budgeted for.
Well, we have
Which
a
would delay it
cemetery
a little
improvement
bit more.
capital project line. We have $47,000 in that project line, and I fully expected that this money would come out of that project line. We knew from the beginning that this green cemetery project that the town asked us to do, that the big money was going to be the survey. That was going to be the big chunk. So I think, you know, there was every expectation that it was going to cost. I mean, we've had surveys done for the cemetery before. Surveys cost. So, and Marie has done them in the past, which makes sense that she would have. So I know that Dave Queen, you know, he's a cemetery committee member, and you know, he was a surveyor, and I don't think that he saw it as an unreasonable proposal. So I don't know. It was sent out twice. We didn't receive any other ones. I think that Chris Chesney actually solicited some folks. I don't know who they were, but I guess they never submitted. Yeah. I guess they didn't want it.
Well, yeah, I see, well, what it indicates specifically is total estimated cost of survey services between $42.05 and $59.35. Please note that these are the estimated amounts based upon the estimated time to do the work. Billing will be based upon the actual time spent on the project and could be more or less than the estimated amount, but the final cost will not exceed $7,000, and that's from Marie Welch.
Right.
So she's the surveyor who did this. This is, you know, this is green. This will be the only, there's one green cemetery in New York State. This will be the second one, and there is a potential, you know, revenue return on this project. So keeping that in mind, we do have capital project line number H78-94 cemetery improvements, which you know, is $46,923.05 as of July 31st. It seems appropriate to use that project line to fund this survey to improve the cemetery, and would like to motion to approve that survey. If we can have a second on that, we can have discussion on it. Okay, any further discussion on it?
Well, my hesitation is that I'm really not convinced that we've solicited other surveyors, and at least I think, you know, it's a great idea, we should do it, but I am concerned that we have one bid, and you know, it's unclear whether our guidelines have been followed about getting at least 3 bids and something in writing. Now, it's possible that it's impossible to get 3 bids, but at least I'm concerned that we haven't. I speak for myself.
I think you've done every reasonable thing. That's my opinion.
Any further comments?
Well, my view is if we've posted in the newspaper,
Twice.
then we did the minimum. And that's happened on other occasions, and I appreciate where Joe's going with this, but you know, you get to the other side of it where you go out and you contact your friends to bid on it, and when you get in that situation. So I'm okay as long as we document that there was only one respondent to the bids. That's where I am.
Okay. Comments?
No.
So motion to approve, all in favor, aye? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Hey.
It's so moved to approve Marie Welch to do the survey for the
Great.
town. Thank you.
Awesome.
Moving forward.
It's going to be great.
I know, it's very
Bigger
exciting.
excited. Thank you for your work on this.
Yeah,
It's
good
a
job
good
on that.
thing for
Will you
the
be doing
town.
composting too? Never.
Bruce.
Item
Same idea.
Item 7 is a cemetery issue also. We have a couple items that, actually, let me introduce.
More money.
Suzanne is our chair of our cemetery committee, and we have a couple requests for equipment to further
Right.
help out the cemetery.
So I think before I was on the committee, at some point in the past, a generator and a cement mixer, the cost of those, I think, were approved, not by you folks, like in the way back. Anyway, Gary didn't get them because his name's not on the Lowe's credit card or at Williams, and then it just fell, and he never got them. He really needs them, so he went ahead again and got new estimates for those. These are his. This is the estimates that he put together that you have in front of you, that he submitted. So those are to make the what are they called? The bases that the stones go on. He sets those up. It would really streamline his work if he could have the generator and the cement mixer.
Those are for the foundations for the...
Thank you, for the stones.
Yeah, for the stones, right?
Yeah, for the monuments, right. And the basement stairs, so this has been an ongoing issue too. The basement stairs in the house that he lives in needs to be replaced. So he got estimates for those, and those are submitted here. And trimmers. So these are all over $250. They need to be approved by the board. And that's it. And this would also come out of the cemetery improvement capital project line that we have.
So basically, there's a request for a trimmer, a generator, a cement mixer, and the basement stairs, which maybe we should itemize these separately, you think, or well, the basement stairs, I think, maybe, I don't know how you want to do it. We could talk about it after we motion in a second to it.
Actually, can I interrupt for a second? Somewhere else in the budget, we looked at this, Tom. There's money to be spent, right, that he hasn't spent yet. That's not in this cemetery improvement capital project line, right? So $1,000, right? So
right.
Actually, part of it, the trimmer and the generator and the cement mixer would probably come out of that money.
Out of this year's
Yeah,
budget?
that hasn't been spent yet, but it still needs to be approved by you because it's over $250, the purchase of it.
Would the town maintenance department take care of the stairs? Is that a town building? Why is this set?
You know,
Is there?
He would,
We have to go look at it.
we talked about that. I think
Yeah.
it wouldn't benefit us financially. Gary would dig out the stairs so that it
Yeah.
could be set. Just the stairway guy, it's all precast stairs, and what
Right.
happens is they deliver this concrete preformed stairway on a truck, and it has a crane on it, and they would just lift it and put it in place and then bolt it into place. There's really no benefit of having our employees
Okay.
get involved in that portion of it, other than what Gary could do himself.
He does need safe stairs.
Yeah.
It
Well,
does-
but
it's
I guess
also-
I don't understand. Is this wooden stairs? that-
No, that's the name of the company.
Wait a minute.
That's the company.
What's the company?
Woodard.
Cantelli?
Sure.
Uh-huh.
And Woodard. No, I understand that, but,
These are precast stairs. This is a bulkhead.
okay, so there's no carpentry involved. It's just a unit that goes in the ground?
Yes. Gary would dig it out with the machinery that he has there, and then they would set the stairs in. And I think
And-
that would be it.
The cement mixer, does the highway department have,
This is a small cement mixer. No, I don't think they do. This is something that he would be using on an ongoing basis that would actually be housed at the cemetery.
We don't really have, I think, something that would be appropriate for this.
you don't have anything?
No, not for this.
Does the maintenance department or?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
It could be, if it's a one-time use, if this purpose of
He
the
need-
cement mixer is for headstone bases,
Yeah.
it's something you need over.
Yeah, ongoing.
out there.
He does them by hand now. Yeah.
It makes his job more efficient, and
Yeah,
quicker,
it
and safer
does.
for him. He's not, it's helpful for his back.
It is. It is, yeah.
Yeah, and he needs it to be the right size to be able to move in between the other headstones and so on.
So all this is coming out of the capital fund?
No,
No,
the,
actually not.
the first three items, the equipment, the cement mixer, the generator, and the trimmer would add up to $941, which we have budgeted for this year, which has not been
We're approving
used.
a budget.
$1,000.
Yeah.
Right, right.
And the $1,600 for the basement stairs would have to come either out of the capital line or whatever else.
Capital. Thanks.
Okay, so because of that, let's separate these with the equipment, items 1, 2, and 3, to approve the purchase, the trimmer for $294, the generator for $349, and the cement mixer for $298, in the total amount of, it's
$941.
$941, but there's going to be taxes and so on.
But the generator goes with the cement mixer, right?
No, it doesn't.
Yes.
Oh, it goes with
does.
it, but two separate items.
So, but you can't run the cement mixer without a generator?
Right.
Okay.
So you could use the generator for other purposes.
Right. It can be used for other purposes.
And you
the
could
generator.
plug the cement mixer in at the garage and do something there, right? Okay.
But are you saying both should come out of capital, or?
No, these
The
should come out of
budget,
the
their
budget
budget
line.
item, they're budgeted for this year, so.
Do you have that with you by any chance? Or I didn't-
Sorry.
So he's got $1,000 for equipment that you're taking this out of.
Right.
Yes, he does.
I don't see why we're voting on that.
Well, just to keep it open.
Okay.
Okay, motion and second to approve?
Motion?
Second.
All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That's so moved. The second item, the basement stairs from Cantelli in an amount of $1,600. Should be an item that's come out, that is retrieved out of item capital line H78-94 cemetery improvements. Motion and second for that.
Motion.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, aye.
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 Opposed? And that's so moved also. Okay,
One last thing.
yes.
The Gravely. Remember the Gravely?
Yeah.
Yes. Can we advertise to sell that now? Can we?
Yeah, we might as well, right? It's just sitting there and,
Wasn't there something else he wanted to sell as well?
oil tank, was it?
Yes.
That too?
Do you know,
The specs?
300, okay.
I think we should, if we can put them in the same advertisement together or separately, we should.
So motion and second to advertise the lawnmower, the Gravely, and also the
300
300-gallon
gallon
oil tank.
Oil
Great.
tank.
All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Motion and second, first of all.
Motion.
Second, all in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, so moved. Okay.
Thanks,
Anything
folks.
else?
No.
Thank you,
All right.
Suzanne.
Thanks for bringing it.
Thank you, Nikki.
Tom, can we go back to the public hearing?
Yeah, sure. We'll go back to public hearing for the two items. Public hearing for item law number 2012-4 and 2012-5. Is there any comments for either item? The motion and second to close the public hearing for both.
Motion?
Tax collector residency.
And town clerk
Who-
residency.
Do you want to address the,
Where has been open. Yeah, I want
do you want to address the,
Okay. Hey.
I'm a town resident,
what is your name?
Murray, and I'm here to speak against local law 4 of 2000, sorry, it's local
I'm
law.
sorry, what
I'm
was
sorry,
your
what
name?
is your name?
Linda Murray.
Linda Murray. Thank you.
You're welcome. I'd like to speak against local law 5 of 2012. I didn't get a chance to read local law 4 of 2012, I just got it. But I think probably the application is the same.
Well, one amends the existing law changing the residency for town clerk. The existing law says town clerk can be a resident without specifying anywhere. There's no geographic boundary. So
And that's what I
one of these is to amend that to say that the town clerk must live in Dutchess, Columbia, or Ulster.
You want time to read it? We can keep it
Well,
open.
let me
Okay.
just speak to local, the one with the town clerk first, because I've taken a look at that, and I'm better versed on that. But anyway, as to that local law, I'm against it, and I have basically 3 reasons why I'm against it. One, I know that there were hundreds of applicants that applied for this position, and in this day and age of buy local, stay local, keep local, and the unemployment rate being over 8% nationally, what it is locally, I do not know. But the fact that we can't take an effort to look and try to find somebody who is a local Rhinebeck resident who's unemployed, partly employed, I think it's disgraceful. I think that we need to look locally and employ our local residents as the town clerk. And if we haven't gotten a qualified applicant, then we should extend the application deadline. Perhaps the mass has not seen the posting, you know? The only reason I found out about it was through word of mouth. It wasn't because people go to the website daily. That's the practical reason that I think the local law should not be amended to include other counties and other residents. The second reason is the legality of the law. I think it's illegal. I think it's flatly illegal. Public Officers Law Section 3 is a general law. It says it's not a general law. It is. And when you have a general law, it can't be superseded by a local law. Towards that end, several...
I'm sorry, which general law did you quote?
Public Officers Law Section 3, which states or provides that no person shall be capable of holding a civil office unless he is a resident of the political subdivision or municipal corporation for which he shall be chosen, or within which his official functions are performed. Then there are a series of comptroller and attorney general opinions in that very law that go on and on about how you cannot make a town clerk not a resident of the town. How are we passing a law that's illegal? And this
understand.
Wait, this is my public comment. And on top of that, the town clerk has a very important role. She is the record keeper of your town. She certifies every record in this town, marriage certificates, death certificates, birth certificates. That's just the three off of the top of my head. If that were challenged, what do you do? What do you do that your town clerk has not fulfilled the basic residency requirements to fulfill that qualification, and you're putting somebody in place that's not qualified? That challenges every marriage certificate, death certificate, every certificate. Anything she does is up to challenge. And I don't know how the town board could consider that. My third point is the construction of the basic law. Assuming you pass the law and you say, we don't really care that Public Officers Law says this, we're going to do what we want, which, pause. When you go to Public Officers Law, Section 3, it goes on and on about all these different offices that you can choose from somewhere else. You could choose a parole officer, a police officer, an attorney. You can even choose somebody from the library. Nowhere does it say you can choose a town clerk from another town or another county. So again, we'll go back to the construction of the law, assuming the town board says, no, we're just going to do it anyway. We don't care what you say, Linda Murray. Contiguous equals sharing a border. It does not mean Ulster County. It's right in Public Officers Law, Section 3. Ulster County does not share a border with Dutchess County. And if you're going to ignore me on that, then Orange County shares a border with us too. Putnam shares a border with us. Litchfield County shares a border with us. Who else? There's a whole host of counties that share a border with Dutchess. I can assure you it's not the three that It's not the three that were listed. So the construction of the law is poorly drafted. And I stand before you, frankly, not knowing one applicant that's applied for the position. But I'm incensed at the law. And I'm standing here because I'm so angry that we could just ignore the law and that we could consider passing a law where there's so many opinions that say that you can't do it, that you can't do it. I don't know one applicant, so I'm standing here neutral. It's a general law. It can't be superseded by local law. It's poorly drafted, and you can't fulfill the basic residency requirements required by New York state law. You need to hire somebody that's a local Rhinebeck resident. And I implore you to not pass this law and to repeal Local Law 3 of 2012 because it's illegal. Thank you.
Okay, the floor is still open for comments in the public hearing for local laws number 4 and local laws number 3 of 2012. Any further comments? Okay. So do we have a motion and a second to close the public hearing?
Motion?
Second.
For closing local, this is for both local laws. So motion and second. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So hearing is closed. Do you intend on voting on this tonight?
Yeah.
It's farther down the agenda.
So you want to go right to that? You want to hold it over? Interested in?
No, I think we ought to vote on it. I've received a opinion from the Health Department on the vital statistics saying that it doesn't have to be a resident of Rhinebeck. Contrary to Ms. Murray, there are numerous opinions, Attorney General opinions going the other way that we can overrule the state law under our home rule powers. That's the view of the Association of Towns. So I would go ahead and pass it, and if challenged, we'll defend it.
Before we make a motion to vote on it, and I'd just like an explanation of Municipal Home Rule S20, whatever it is, Section 20, Paragraph 4 says you have to have 2/3 of the total voting power approve it in order for it to pass. Did we get around that somehow?
Do you have a copy of the section? I don't.
Because that would say that we need 4 people on the board to vote for it, which we didn't have.
Which section are you talking about, Bruce?
Paragraph 4, number 4, down at the bottom, it says
2/3 of our board would be 3.3 people.
I know we had to do that when we changed the zoning laws. When any of the local laws that we had done in the past, we always had to have they call it a supermajority. And it meant 4 people on the board had to vote aye.
Did you need that with the CAB appointment?
I don't know.
Residency requirement? That was with the same
We
law,
didn't. We
wasn't
never
it?
changed the residency requirement.
I thought we did.
No, we never did.
It's 3.3,
Yeah.
so why would it round up instead of rounding down?
That's,
Might
they
have,
do it that way specifically, so you have to have more than just the majority.
Look, maybe what we ought to do is hold it over and speak to Pam on it, and then take this up. The public hearing is closed. Let's wait 2 weeks and talk to Pam.
Okay.
Thank you.
So, but this will possibly back level us on local law 3 as well, right?
Well, let's see what she says.
Okay.
Just to answer some of your comments, we did advertise for this. We did not receive hundreds of applications. We received a good amount, and we had a very low percentage of them were Rhinebeck. I'd say less than 10% were Rhinebeck applicants, and we've considered them all very carefully. We're in the same boat.
We had 18 Rhinebeck residents, right?
Yeah, so a little less than 10%.
Well, we didn't have 180.
No, we had about 90, 100 applicants.
About 20% were.
Sorry.
Well, we have, right now, we have some finalists that are
We are
Rhinebeck
considering it.
residents.
It's important to us also. We have a interim clerk. We tried to be very mindful of our outgoing clerk, and we gave her a lot of room to give us short notice, and we have a interim clerk that needs help, so we're doing the best we
I
can.
need to fill the position. I personally wanted to interview every single Rhinebeck applicant, but I was voted down by the board. So it was in the top of my mind to definitely.
I don't recall that vote. We voted you down to interview all the applicants from Rhinebeck?
I was overruled.
By who?
By
I don't
us.
recall that vote. When was that?
Really?
Yeah, no, we decided that we would not interview
only
everyone
we would
because
only
some of the
qualified
applications were so unqualified that,
We decided that we would interview qualified applicants.
right.
I don't remember that
And
vote.
we've interviewed what we felt every qualified Rhinebeck applicant.
Yeah, and I think we were unanimous on that, and I remember that specifically. I could tell you later one applicant that,
Right, okay.
Well, I'd be happy to turn this in if it's,
can you approach the microphone, please?
I'd be happy to turn this in. I'll forward it to Pam herself.
You have copies of it for yourself?
Well, except that it's on scrap paper with probably some confidential information.
Why don't you forward, it's on, there's other stuff on the back of those documents that are not pertaining to the.
Yes.
So is it possible that you could forward them somehow electronically to the clerk to forward it to the town attorney?
Sure.
Okay,
Absolutely.
all right, thanks. All right, so this item, the
One more
adoption of the
comment?
law will be
Yeah.
held over till the next regular town board meeting.
Oh, I can make it
on,
at the next time.
9/24.
right, September 24th. And, okay. So, yeah, we'll just hold it over. Okay.
Yeah, just hold over the vote.
Also, in that time, if we can, I think it would be helpful, at least to me, if we saw the original local laws that made things appointed and merged tax collector, and I can't find them in any of the local laws. So if you could give me copies, I'd appreciate it.
I don't have copies.
Back to number 8.
Yeah, number 8. Okay. Item 8 is a motion to appoint Marissa Burns to the Recreation Committee. Motion and second.
Motion.
Any discussion?
Just
Great
put
do I
out
have a
her
second?
name.
Second?
She's great. It looks like a really well-qualified applicant. I think would be a good addition.
She would.
Has a lot of good experience.
Then second it.
Any
Second.
Okay. Any further discussion?
Oh,
All in
thank you.
favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So moved. Item number 9 is a proposed letter requesting proposals for attorneys.
Motion?
Second.
Discussion on that?
Everyone has a copy of the letter in their packet. There was only one minor change, Joan, in the penultimate paragraph. I want to change what your hourly rate, parentheses, rates, in case there are other attorneys in the firm to be practicing on different things. But other than that, I think we're ready to go and to advertise it.
So is this for 2013, or is this for right away?
I want to do it right away.
And is this...
But the letter says 2013.
Beginning in the reorg?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think by the time you get it and interview it, you're going to be in
Right.
2013.
I think that's probably true. We do need to set a deadline for them to come back. If we advertise it tomorrow, we could say, okay,
I would say we could interview and,
yeah,
what, with the resumes and so on?
starting maybe October 1.
Well, again, I don't think you're really going to get any applicants who are going to pick it up from the newspaper. I think the only way is to send letters out like we did last time to people who specialize in municipal law.
Right, which I
How
will
soon
provide-
can you get these letters out?
Well, Joan, I can provide you with all the addresses.
But it's
And I
going to
can
take
help you
Joan
with
at least
that.
a week to get these letters out, I would think. You know,
What
she's
if-
got a lot of other things to do.
What if somebody, are we allowed to suggest certain people bid on this? So if we want to, I mean,
Yeah,
I'm
I see
looking,
no reason why not. We want to
I-
send a letter to all people who practice municipal law, except maybe those people who we've already interviewed previously and were not impressed.
I gave everyone a list of all the ones that were recommended in the past, and with 5 new additions, and if anyone wants to add to that list, I'm happy to help Joan get the letter out. So I would like to get them out by the end of this week.
But again, maybe you're proposing the end of the month?
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's already, I don't know if that gives people enough time. You want to give them to October 15, because we're going to be pretty busy in the next few weeks with a budget to start interviewing a whole bunch of people. We still haven't even finished the town clerk.
All right, we can
Decision.
say October 15th. That's okay with me. Is that all right with everyone else?
it's fine.
I think it's just bad timing if, like Joe says, we're in the middle of a major transition with the town clerk. We're in the beginning of the budget process. And not to mention training the town clerk. With the reorg approaching at the beginning of the year, I think it's just bad management skills to start interviewing this thing we're in the middle of a difficult time for the town board. So
Well, these are all
unless you're
trained
saying that,
professionals.
Well, these are just responses to the thing, then we can set a interview schedule.
yeah, as long as it's, I would say, after the budget's done.
Well, I don't know about, I think we can decide that. Let's see what kind of response we get if we choose the October 15, and who knows where we're going to be at the budget. I don't think we have to decide an interview schedule, but it has to be sometime before the beginning of the year.
Okay. So would this also include the other consultants? Or just attorneys? Because we
I
talked
think it's a
about,
good place to start, and
because we talked about other consultants last week, not just targeting attorneys.
No.
Bring it forward, bring something forward for discussion.
Well,
I'm happy to,
farther down is
Yep, here's
what's
another
the
one.
status of what we were doing on this?
So other
I
ones are
assume we
being
would
brought
send
forward.
exactly the same thing out for the zoning and planning attorneys.
Well, I'm not sure about that. I think we know that the price for the zoning and planning attorney is quite low. We can tell from these responses what rates are running, so that I think in the interest of economy and efficiency, we shouldn't be asking for at this point, a search for things where it's pretty certain that we're very low. So I would not propose to do planning and zoning, attorney.
Who's the liaison to planning and zone?
Joe is planning and Tom and I share zoning.
Didn't we just negotiate down rate on?
Yes, we did.
Well, it was done at the same time as we did the town clerk, the
Town
rate.
clerk?
I'm sorry, the town attorney. The 125 was set 2 years ago.
Well, let's discuss that when we get to it.
What was that, for the planning attorney?
Yeah. For routine planning and zoning, 125, and we're not going to beat that rate.
Right. Okay.
So I would propose we don't, we just focus on the big item, which is town attorney.
Why do you think that's the big item? We spend more on the other ones.
No, that's escrow usually.
That's escrow covered.
Don't think
So we
so.
still have a
We
responsibility
do
to
have a
the citizens.
We do have a responsibility, but it's not our budget. I think we bid it out, we did negotiate for a lower rate.
We did.
In the past 4 months, I'd say,
I
right?
thought it was April that we negotiated.
Time flies.
No, we've always had 125. We've
I guess we negotiated a specific invoice, right?
Well, that's not the item that's up for vote right now, anyway.
I'm fine with this. Do we want to,
Yeah,
Okay, motion and second, it's on the floor, correct? For the
Yeah.
advertising for the attorney? Wait a minute here, let me see here.
you know,
For the proposed attorneys, proposal from attorneys, and that, I think it just specifically pertains to the attorney to the town.
Yes.
Okay, not the zoning and planning attorney. So, motion and second, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
aye.
motion? Oh, Gina's.
It was
There was
already.
already
It was
discussion,
second.
right?
Thank
Okay.
you.
Did you vote on that? Okay.
Sorry, I forgot.
All in favor, aye? Okay.
Aye.
I'll
Opposed?
say aye on this.
I'll oppose that at this point in time. It's so moved. Item 10 is a motion to approve the lowest bidder for the tree replacement at the Vandenberg Cove Sewer District from the Vandenberg Cove Capital Fund.
Motion.
Second?
Second,
Any discussion on that?
could you explain this for us, Bruce?
At the north plant down there, part of the easement agreement was that we would put in a certain number of trees to screen the Ricky's property, and some of those trees have died. Some of the trees that we put in at the south plant to screen, and that was part of Tobias's?
DeBeese.
Yeah. That screening there, and just some of the, I think 13 trees, or whatever the number is here, have died. And
I'm sorry, 13 out of how many?
it was like 40. And part of the problem was that when we got them done the last time, we didn't get a one-year guarantee because we tried to get the price down, and so we didn't negotiate the one-year guarantee. Everybody thought the trees were going to live, and they didn't make it. So this time we asked for the one-year guarantee. It's to replace the ones that have died. We're not adding anything new. And Rochelle has been working on getting the bids from different places. The rosebuds, I know Gina just put a call in there and make sure we're getting the right price. I think the big difference is that rosebuds is, the owner's doing the work himself, so it doesn't, a prevailing wage wouldn't apply there. Adams and Augustine are both using people, and I think the trees are a little more expensive. Yeah, $325 at Augustine to $165 at Rosebuds. So Rosebuds is up in Red Hook across from Hannaford. Augustine's over in Kingston, and Adams is, I guess, in Poughkeepsie.
The original, you said, was about 40 trees.
Yes.
Do you remember what the price was for the 40 trees?
I think we were $85, $87 a piece. We got them from the Zitz farm.
Yeah.
I wasn't really, Dan did that. I wasn't really
Right.
involved in that part of
I
it.
thought it was pretty low, probably lower or the same as, what, the low bid is 2,700?
Yeah, it was right around, Rosebuds is just about what, the same thing. This is actually,
So we got 40 trees for the same price as the,
yeah, we'd have to go back and check.
yeah.
I think
Because I guess I'm wondering, I understand we didn't get a guarantee last time, and I think the vendor said, at that price, I can't give any kind of a guarantee. But if most of them survived, and it's much cheaper with this guy, maybe maybe we don't need the guarantee, and we just replace.
he doesn't even want to bid anymore.
Okay, you've spoken to him, and,
It was so low the last time.
right, it was so low the last time.
We'd have to go look up our memories on what the
This-
cost of the
Okay, why
trees
don't we,
We could do that.
Well, we're going to lose the window to plant them too, aren't we? I mean, it's a good time to start planting now, right?
well, I think you can plant into October, through the end of October.
I don't know. Joan, can you find them in the Vanderburg Cove?
I can look.
Or Shelley would have the voucher.
Yeah.
So, but, so you're saying what? We find out that and then what?
Well,
These
maybe
are-
I
it
see
pays
what
to go
he's
without
saying.
the guarantee if it's going to be much less for the number of trees. Maybe we take a chance, and even if some of them don't survive, if you keep paying much lower, maybe that's a better way to go.
Okay.
Well, let's get a final price from Rosebuds in case it actually may be less than that, than the quote.
I think this is fine.
Yeah, I think it's fine, but if it's a difference between $165 a tree and $85 a tree, that's a,
Well, that's our recollection. It could have been 165 a tree.
true.
So,
But we definitely need to do it. Fall is a good time. We could approve it on the next,
Yeah, that's
On
what
the
I'm
next
saying. Just
meeting.
wait, let's see.
you okay with that, Bruce?
I'm fine with this. I mean, I think if we bid it out and this is the lowest bid and they're quasi-local, we can get them in and get them established
So
before.
we have a motion and second to approve the lowest bidder. All in favor, aye? Aye?
aye.
Opposed?
Opposed?
Oh, I would like to just wait until,
That's so moved.
okay, fine. Whatever.
Item, we've already went through the public
Some money
hearings
from
and the
Vanderburg
action
Cove
items,
people.
so we should, items for discussion is the core group rezoning requests, continuation from past meeting.
I'm sorry, Tom, what item are you on?
Discussion, core group rezoning requests?
Again, this has been on our agenda. We've accepted a escrow deposit of $3,500, which Maria and her client gave us. And I think at this point, we ought to either give the money back if we're not going to proceed, or if we're going to proceed, then we would use the money to hire Ted Fink and John Lyons, who advise us on this one particular parcel. So I think it's time for decision as to whether the board wants to go ahead or wait. And I gather there's some kind of committee that's been formed, and who knows when they're ever going to get back to us.
Well, Tom and I are on the committee.
But you haven't met yet, is
No.
that correct?
Well, we've
And-
met initially, but we were going to meet this week, but Michael has some construction project at his house, he told me, so we couldn't meet this week.
I haven't met yet.
Well, you didn't meet initially with these guys?
No.
Okay.
Has there been a meeting?
There was a meeting while you were away, and then they were
Oh.
going to get together with you to update
Okay,
you from that
when I
meeting.
joined, okay.
That- Yeah.
Right, yeah,
So-
we hopefully will, you know,
Well, the meeting, that committee is going to be an extensive, long-term,
It's not, according to
It's
Michael.
not?
it's to look at and advise us on situations like, I think like this.
Yes.
Is that correct, Tom?
And the impression I'm getting from the planning board chair, it'd be fairly quick, and the attorney, the zoning and planning attorney.
So we should
So and he, by the way, is volunteering to be on this review group.
unpaid.
well, I volunteered too, but I wasn't allowed to be on it. But I do think you have been extremely patient, and I don't see why you need to wait any longer. That's just my opinion.
Well, are we making a motion to accept their money and continue?
No, the motion is to give their money back,
Oh, okay.
and I so move to give it back. I am in Gina's camp that I think this is a separate thing, and I fear that it's going to be a long process. I remember when I worked on and drafted the non-controversial amendments, the majority of the then board felt they really didn't want to get into extensive discussion of controversial issues with respect to revamping the zoning law. I don't know if that's changed. Certainly, if you're going to go beyond this one parcel, I think you're going to be into controversial things that are going to require full public hearing and...
It's my understanding that we're going to do it on a case-by-case basis, and this is one of the first things we're going to be looking at. Is that your understanding, Tom?
That's correct. It's a chair of the planning board, the zoning board of appeals, and the attorney to the
Our
town
land use
for
attorney.
land use attorney.
Attorney.
And basically those
And
three
Tom
would,
and I.
those
yeah.
three would lead this group, and we would be there as town board
And
members to liaison.
listen and bring it forward at the town board meeting. It's my understanding, and I called John Lyons, I've spoken with Mike Tremble, I've not spoken with the head of the, with Dave
I haven't either.
Baldorf, but I spoke briefly with John Lyons. It's my understanding that this is one of the first things we're going to discuss. So
And they,
Now, is he
and they
doing-
believe it would be fairly quick. and
Is he
efficient.
doing it on a pro bono basis, or is
He
he
is.
going to charge?
He's volunteering for it.
volunteering.
Okay.
So he's volunteering for, this is a sort of a stealth committee that will meet and talk about these spot issues that we have, I guess, with zoning and planning in regard to the comp plan, and bring it forward to the town board so that we can get some quicker resolutions.
Right, they're going to, the comp plan was approved nearly 3 years ago, and the idea is to revisit the problems that the planning and zoning board has had.
Like the
so-
fencing permit in Rhine Cliff and things that are glaring issues that need to be tweaked. If you want to give the money back, we could, do you want to hear what, core group says about it? I mean, I'm hoping we could have an answer pretty quickly.
Well, I've already met with Dave Baldoff and Michael Trimble specifically about their issue. And I feel ready that they should proceed on getting Ted Fink on board and proceeding with it. I feel totally comfortable with that.
Okay.
But
Well, maybe the way to do it is to take a vote on whether we're willing to proceed or wait for this committee. If we're decide that majority wants to wait, then we can ask the applicant whether he wants his money back or
Tom, what are your
he'll
feelings
keep it
on
with
that?
us.
Waiting or do we need, I mean,
Well,
what are
this
your
is,
feelings?
this is our first attempt at looking at our zoning since we passed the comp plan. These guys are the experts, and if we proceed now, before that, the applicants, or the, not really applicants, but they will be paying for these experts. If you allow the committee to do what we have to do, or the group, we're volunteering to do this. It's not like
So there'll be a savings there. We would have some direction, and then it could go to Ted Fink, and there would potentially be some savings, is what you're
I
saying.
would think there would be.
Well, there may or may not be, who knows, we may come back. But why don't we do the first vote, which is, are we willing to proceed on this one parcel at this point?
I think it's a risk. I think it's an
Yeah.
issue of spot zoning and,
Since I'm on this committee, I'm voting for the integrity of the committee. I'd like to hear what the committee rules about.
Well,
about it.
I'm asking for, let's just vote.
Okay.
Okay?
Proceed
you're
doesn't
making-
mean approve.
so you're making a motion to proceed.
I'm making a motion that we hire Ted Fink and John Lyons to review this one parcel and advise the board on this one parcel.
Is there a second?
Motion.
Second.
Okay, all in favor, aye. Oh, yeah, sure. Yep, that'd be good.
Hi, Dan Rizzo with Core Group Greenhouse. Just I'm taking in what's being said here, and I guess my only real issue, it sounds like if we proceed with the funds, it may move a little faster.
Not necessarily.
No, not necessarily. So I guess.
Maybe. You know, who knows?
Well, that's what I kind of, so, you know, if you pay, it might go a little faster. Otherwise, it's a volunteer committee, and like you say, other people. My only request would be, is this committee going to have a separate meeting, like on a Tuesday night, or how would they go about that? So if I wanted to come in and address the meeting to help define what it is we're trying to do so everybody really understands it. Because when this thing started off, this thing was being called everything from a conference hall to a banquet hall. I mean, so I wanted to sit down with this committee. I missed last month's meeting. And the committee is Tom, Elizabeth,
Mike Tremble?
Mike Tremble, and
David Baldorf
Dave
and,
Baldorf.
and John Lyons.
and John Lyons. And if that group meets, I would just like to sit down and meet with them at that time. That's
We
my
have to
big
notice,
question
is
here
this
tonight.
It's not a committee, it's not a open
It's an
meeting.
advisory board?
I mean, I'd like to know what they have to say also, you know, so, and but they are aware of what we're talking about here. They've, I mean, they know more about it than I do, so,
Do we have to notice these committee meetings?
it's not an open meeting, it's not a
Okay.
board meeting of any sort. so-
Okay,
But it's an open meeting.
Sure.
Anybody can go to it.
so we would put it on our website or
Oh,
let you
okay.
know. It's a workshop though, right?
Yeah.
But as a courtesy, you could let
Yes,
them know.
absolutely.
I mean, I can email and find out, or call, and you know.
Yes.
Or just check the site if it's posted on the site, what, a week in advance? Day of?
Well, I don't know, I'm waiting for them to get their schedule together to meet, so I know Michael was putting a roof on his house, so that's why we didn't meet this week. But we could certainly notify you. Okay,
Okay.
yeah.
How would you like to be notified?
Email is fine, whichever is easier.
I mean, I don't even know, I mean, we have yet to talk together, so, but we can certainly, the group has yet to meet totally.
Okay, yeah, I didn't know what happened from the last meeting till tonight, if they had a meeting or where they were at with it.
That true?
But I can certainly email, I have your email, so I can email you
You have my email?
pretty sure I do.
Great.
You're on the website.
Yes.
I do have your email. Then.
Yes, that's my personal email, which I check
Okay.
continuously.
I'll just email you my contact
Thank you.
info, and I know if it's convenient for when everybody meets and they don't mind me, you know, coming there and showing them what I have and what we're trying to do. I think it might help define it a little clearer.
I think this is a workshop, though, so are we taking,
Well, it is a workshop, I mean, really, I don't even know, pretty much the experts are going to be leading this thing.
Yeah.
I don't know.
you're welcome to listen. I
yeah.
don't know if they'll be taking
Oh, okay.
comment is the distinction, I believe, of a workshop. Is that correct?
Right.
You're welcome to sit there and listen to what we're doing. We're letting them lead us.
Right.
And then it'll go,
We'll present it to the board publicly.
yes. But, yes, you're absolutely welcome to attend.
Okay, thank you. And as you know, as far as the escrow amount, I'm not so sure I understand exactly what you want to keep the escrow then for the time being.
I mean,
it's
I think there's a motion to return it to you because we've held on to it too long.
I don't know that we've ever approved you giving it to us. I don't
But
know.
I think the
we did.
motion-
The motion is whether we're willing to proceed at this point. Once we decide that, then we can discuss giving the money back. But it's
Do you
a
want the money back?
two-step thing, so.
Do you want it back?
Let's see, do I turn down
Let's do the-
35?
Let's
Not
do-
if it's gonna help the,
I don't-
that's just,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, if that's what's gonna help move it along, if we have to get the outside like we had talked about, but if the committee's now taking
I
over,
can't
then
answer
yeah.
that because I wasn't part of that discussion. And
Right.
I don't know what the application said, if there was an application or if it was just a letter or what, but,
It was just a letter,
okay.
and it was an estimate, from Joe as how much he thought it would cost to have that change done.
Marie Welch. I would say at this point, why can we ask that you table this particular motion and not act upon it, because you're going to meet again in 2 weeks anyway?
It'll
And-
come up either, like you're saying.
Right, and hopefully in that 2-week time period, perhaps the committee will have had a chance to meet, and they can better tell us whether this will happen faster if they do it in the committee, or if they do it individually as two professionals working
Right.
on the project, so.
Right.
I think that
Actually ask that you table that particular motion.
that's what we were discussing, and there's a move to have a vote on it now.
No,
so-
I have no problem as long as Marie and her client are happy with
Waiting.
tabling it, that's fine with me. I was only bringing it to a head because you
We asked you-
legitimately said at our last meeting, we've had the money for a while. You were under the mistaken impression that we would not deposit the check. We just don't hold
But also, I was under the
checks.
impression that once you deposit it, that sets the ball in the roll, in motion.
That was certainly my impression of it, but
I would say-
but by asking us to table it, we're not going to decide anything tonight.
Okay.
Tom, and you'll push this forward? I mean, are there,
With Michael, yeah.
who's trying to schedule the meeting? I
Me,
know we're-
Michael, David, Michael had
I'll
the issue
just
this week,
make it
sure.
work, you know what, Mike?
I'll make it work too.
Yeah, mornings
It
are good.
sound-
Any
Well,
mornings?
they seem to want to do it in the morning, so.
Great.
Okay.
So I know we're at their discretion, but you'll push the emails through?
Right. I'd make the phone
Okay,
calls.
thank you.
I do it by phone call. It's easier,
Oh,
quicker.
okay,
All
so
right.
call me.
Okay,
We'll
so we'll
try and
follow
meet
up.
within the
Thank
next
you.
week.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Marie, you got the bid award for the cemetery? Okay. Tonight, okay.
That's what was on the agenda.
Suzanne Kelly will follow through with you, or, okay.
I have her email.
Okay, great, thank you.
Night.
Good night.
Good night, thanks.
Thanks.
Next item for discussion is the Town Hall Tech Initiative.
There was a communication glitch, and I seem to have received the cover page only of our tech RFP. I thought I could present it tonight, but I can't access it. So I think we have an RFP, and as soon as we do, we'll post it and invite people to bid on it. So next meeting. If the RFP isn't ready by then, I'm going to bring up a different solution.
Does this have equipment on it?
Sorry?
Is there any equipment on this? Equipment?
Within the RFP, I haven't, as I
Okay.
said, I believe I just have the cover page. so.
Okay, I have,
But Elizabeth, before you publish it, you're going to let us have a chance to look at the RFP?
Yes, I was going to bring
Okay.
it to the board, of course. No, I'm not just going to publish it.
there was some funding left over from a grant from several years ago that Senator Saland had gotten us the van with.
Didn't we use the van for it, and then we
It
were
was-
talking
there
about
was like-
computers?
Yeah, so
remember.
apparently it's just over $2,000. He's told him about your attempt to get some technology here, and he's approved to try to get that money from the State Department,
Oh, how much more?
$2,300.
So, and that would be for, I remember the last one was specifically for computers.
You had to
which
ask.
we do need
Yeah.
to replace
Right.
pretty much all of them within the next couple of years, so, good.
So, but his finance department has to work with the State Department to see if they can still
Not
retain
going
it.
to be easy, right?
No.
It's just not going to come.
So
All right, well,
hopefully-
yes, it does include computers. It includes everything we've been talking about for months and months and months and months and months.
I'll let you know.
Thank you.
Okay. So we need to schedule some budget workshops. I have some calendar days for me, if you guys have any for yourself. there's one scheduled for Wednesday at 5 p.m. So far at this point in time, we have a revenue report on that day, and I think
Is that the revenue report we were going to have tonight?
maybe we want to do it Wednesday, I think.
I thought it was moved to, I got confused. I thought it was going to be at the budget workshop.
I thought, I had it down that it was going to be on tonight's agenda.
I got confused.
Are you doing it, Bruce?
Yeah,
Where's
you told
Tom?
me to.
Yeah. And then also we'll have capital projects.
Yeah, I think you should.
Do that at the end?
So when is the budget
I'm sorry.
workshop? I've got 5 o'clock on the 12th, is
On
that
Wednesday,
correct?
right?
Okay.
So that's a revenue,
Revenue and capital.
thank you.
Is that going to be open to the public? Because I
It's a
thought part of
workshop,
the-
they're open to the public.
Okay, so
Not for
I've
comment,
had
for
requests for
listening.
revenue. Okay.
Just a small suggestion, revenue certainly should come first, but I think you should probably work on your regular expenditures before you get into the capital business, capital plan, because I think the rest of your expenditure plan will, to some extent, drive the capital plan, so.
Saying do the capital plan after we put in some time on the budget?
Yeah,
That's, I think,
Yes.
has been our feeling, generally.
I mean, it depends on how you go about it. If you go by department, maybe then you can, do it almost in parallel. But if you don't do it by department, then you should do the expenditures first. Bruce, do you have a feeling on that?
Yeah, I have mixed feelings about it. I think that we're going to go through a behavioral change if we're going to do capital plans. We're going to have to establish a discipline, and we're going to have to make trade-offs. Things that we normally would fund, we won't be able to fund as much because we're going to spend money on capital.
True.
And so I think by teeing up what you've found, and then it'll be in our minds
At
as we
least
go
introducing it.
Yeah.
through the rest of the budget. So just an introductory one, I think, would be of value this Wednesday.
Philosophically, are we going to listen to all of this and try and come to some sort of consensus what we want to do? Or are we just going to listen?
I don't think you can decide what you're going to do.
Until you see the whole picture?
Yeah.
All right, so we'll just,
Because it's all part of a system.
all right, so it will be the first time that we're sort of reviewing it together.
You also probably want to go to a number of iterations, because the first time you do something, it's not going to fit until you have the whole picture together.
Heinz, you did a tremendous job on that. It was really illuminating for me. It was really helpful.
But Tom, let's set some other dates. You got one date.
So Heinz, yeah, that's the 5 PM. Do we have it up here? We should maybe go downstairs in the big table for that?
If it's free, we could put the tables, we should, speaking of
each
that,
other.
we should have tables that face each other. It is
Yeah.
a workshop, it's a long,
Yes.
difficult process, and we should limit public comment to it, if at all,
Yeah, no,
but it is what, it's
open to the public. and-
open to the public,
Okay, so as
absolutely.
long as we're facing each other, I think that's important.
So we have the
plan
12th.
a meeting a week on this. The following week, I could do the 19th or the 20th.
I can't do the 19th, only because my wife begins her 12-hour shifts at the hospital, not unless it's later at night, like around this time
I
of
could
night.
do it later at night.
Like around 8 o'clock.
Do it at 8 o'clock. What about the 20th?
20th is
I
open.
can't do the 20th.
So let's do the 19th at 8 o'clock.
I prefer earlier meetings. I have,
Well,
I could do 20th.
How can you do the 20th?
In the evening.
like a 5 o'clock, is that a comfortable time for
I think I
everybody?
could.
I can
might
do
be
it
a little
till
bit.
7 o'clock, 5
5
to
to
7.
7?
5 to 7 on the 20th?
now again, we need a preliminary budget to start looking at.
Well, we're doing a revenue report first, right?
Right, but that's the 14th. I'm saying for the 20th, we ought to have a budget.
The 12th, Joe.
Is your budget in?
What?
The 12th.
Oh, it is.
Right, that's, you're doing the revenue. We're setting another meeting for the 20th.
Yeah, but you said the 14th.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry, the 20th, I mean. Budget meeting on 20th, 5 o'clock. What about the following week?
Let me see. No good on the 21st, or what? 21st September?
That's a Friday.
Yeah.
I can't do that.
How about the 25th, the day after our meeting?
25th is, 25th is not good for me.
You got Yom Kippur starting, okay, well, I guess that's, I think that's
Good thing I don't have a
Tuesday
calendar.
night. What about the 27th?
Do you want to meet before the town board meeting?
27th is good.
Or we could meet before the town board meeting? Although,
27th is fine.
27th is
27th,
fine for me, too.
So 24th, 27th is good. Want to meet at 5, or even earlier is fine with me on that day.
4 o'clock?
now we're talking about the 27th.
27th, right.
Not the 24th, okay.
A suggestion, if you have, I don't know what the time is that you want to set on the 27th, but if you have a town board meeting at 6:45 or
No, that's
No,
on
no,
a
the
Thursday.
meeting's on the 24th,
Yeah.
the town board meeting.
what, my concern is that you don't box yourself in.
Yeah.
Because these discussions always go longer than
Right.
anticipated.
Yeah. The 27th, starting at 4?
Well, could we,
4:30 's
do it
okay.
either after 7? I have an affordable housing committee meeting, or do it earlier in the day?
I could do it earlier.
You want to do it at 3 to 5:30?
It's fine by me. Okay.
What time is your affordable housing meeting?
5:30,
Is that here?
at the library. It'd just take a couple minutes to get there. So the week of October 1st,
Did you want to do, you don't want to do Fridays, right?
No.
I could do Fridays, so,
Pencil?
so week of October 1st, what about either the Monday, the 1st, or the 2nd?
I can't do the 2nd.
We do the 1st? The rest of the week gets a problem for me.
Yeah, I can do the 1st. And I can start as early as you want in that day.
I can't start until 4.
Sorry, what date are you?
October 1st?
4 o'clock?
That would be the earliest, yeah.
There's a planning board meeting at 6:45.
We could go downstairs. Thank you.
On the 1st, Joe?
Yep. Now, the week of the 8th,
Wait a minute, how about the 2nd or 3rd?
I can do the 3rd, I can't do the 2nd.
I can't do the 3rd.
How about the 2nd?
I could do the 2nd.
I could do in the afternoon
TV.
before 4:30.
Well, you got to leave at 4:30?
Mhm.
Well, that doesn't give us much time.
What about the 1st?
What about the 1st at 4 o'clock?
Didn't we just schedule for the?
Yeah, well, I think somebody's rethinking that.
But not the 2nd, right?
Right, not the 2nd.
So Monday, the 1st at 4 PM. When's the planning board meeting?
That night,
Okay.
6:45.
The week of October 8th, we have a town board meeting on Tuesday night. What about Wednesday, the 10th?
That's not good for me.
Again, the 11th, I have affordable housing at 4:30, if we can start at 3.
No,
What?
I can't start that early.
Could we do it at 7?
On the 11th?
Yeah,
Yes.
is that okay?
7 on the 11th?
Yeah.
Sure. Joan, you getting all these? Okay. Okay.
The following week, and again, as we go, we can cancel some of these.
I got to, I don't know the schedule after that, so I can't commit to anything.
I'm
How
sorry,
many-
Tom, you can't make any commitments after that?
Right. Right.
Not even tentative, because calendars get filled up.
No.
You know. The world doesn't come to an end if one meeting is missed.
Yeah, we can go backwards then and start
What?
adding some more days.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
Well, there were other people who couldn't make a day. We could just go back to see who.
Well, I think we have set a schedule for one meeting a week. So,
About Wednesday, the 17th.
Right.
Five schedule. Do you
Yeah.
want to just, like, at the 2 meetings in, you can schedule another 3 or something? I mean,
Well, the problem is, Kathy, that calendars get filled up, and unless people really have notice in advance, it's really hard. What about the 17th? Should we try to pencil something in for Wednesday the 17th?
Coach. Okay.
Wednesdays aren't great for me.
Thursday the 18th, 16th, Tuesday?
How many meetings are we going to need?
I don't know, but we can cancel it if
Okay.
we don't need the
How
meetings.
about Thursday, the 18th at 4 o'clock?
Let's tentatively do it.
Just put us, I'm not committed to any of these days, so.
Right, you can check, I understand, but the following week, the 23rd, 24th?
I'm sorry, I missed this fall on the 18th.
I'll go,
4 PM, yes. Tom isn't sure. Can we,
it's tentative.
all right, well, it's hard to go that far in advance. Can
Want it to stop?
we wait, wait another week or two, and then we'll be able to go it'll be a month in advance then.
Again, we have the risk of people not being able to make it.
Joan, what's the last date you have?
The 18th at 4.
Are you okay with that, you guys? We don't know yet.
I think so. I mean, I'll try.
I don't know either, so you want to just put it on the side,
I'll keep it, and we
maybe?
can confirm it as we go. I'm
Let's
fine
keep
with that.
it.
Just put a maybe down next to that as maybe a day. Maybe we should just,
Like tentative?
yeah, we can advertise it as tentative. So let's have a motion and second to approve the dates that were set
Motion.
Second.
for budget workshops. All in favor, aye.
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 Opposed? And sort of give you a verbal on what's going on. I'm going to go backwards. We have to adopt the final budget by November 20th. However, we have to close the public hearing by November 15th.
Close public comment.
On the preliminary budget.
When do we open
We
public
can,
comment?
preliminary budget, public hearing on the preliminary budget can be open no later than November 8th. There's a fire district receipt, that's not necessary to know for you guys.
So that means we have to have a tentative budget to give to the public that we've agreed on by November 8th.
Right. We have to have the public hearing by November 8th on the preliminary budget.
How far in advance do we have to give that budget to the public before the hearing? I would assume we want to give the public some.
Okay, let me go the other way down. A tentative budget has to be filed with the town clerk by September 30th. The town clerk has to present a tentative budget to the town board by November 5th. Town board reviews the tentative budget and adopts a preliminary budget, sets date for public hearings. We give a notice to the public hearing. We receive.
Did you mean October?
What did I say?
You said November.
I'm sorry, October, you're correct, right? October 5th.
So
Town
October
clerk.
5th, say it again, please.
The town clerk presents a tentative budget to the town board. And that's basically just the board, that's the budget that's given to the board. And then we work towards a preliminary budget when we go through our budget workshops. Preliminary budget becomes the adopted budget. So just to give you kind of a flow of things. And as I said on
I don't
November.
have all of my worksheets in.
Right.
I still have another week or two then.
No, I thought we were supposed to get them in by September 1st.
August.
Shelley's working on a budget. I think we got to get it in as soon as humanly possible.
The one you're talking about is the highway, I think, right?
Well, also I have a web thing.
Okay.
Yeah. I can get it in. I can email it to her.
Kathy will have
Does it
hers
have to
in
be
by
on the
this week.
form or can I email it? Does it matter?
Email it to her, if you could.
Thank you.
Yeah. To Shelley.
To Shelley.
Right, okay.
And then Kathy is independent.
We think we'll get highway preliminary when?
I should have budget worksheets in by the end of this week to Shelley.
So that's more than half the battle there.
Yeah.
And then recreation's the second biggest, which I don't know if that's interesting.
We only have minor changes. I'll put those in.
Okay.
Can't hear you, Bruce.
We only have minor changes.
All right, you guys got that? Any questions?
A million, but I think we're good for now.
All right, so moving on to the recreation refund policy.
Okay, well, a while back, somebody had put in a refund, and we decided not to authorize it because we didn't have a policy. So the Recreation Committee met once on it. We came up with something that was kind of vague and never finished it. So I tried to finish it today. And I think I may have given you too much information because I gave you examples of how it would work.
I like the example.
And,
I
and,
did too.
and that would...
Kickers and kickies, yeah.
Basically what it is there's several different policies here. You get no refund if, and this is only for fees that have been paid to the town. So some people will be very clever and say, well, I didn't get to go to that, and I want a refund, and I didn't pay yet. But, you know, that kind of a thing.
What, like, for example?
The 7th week of camp, they paid for 6, and something happened in the 7th week, and some people might ask for a refund for a week they never paid for.
Okay.
So, and that sounds absurd, but that does happen. Participation fees are based on season passes. So if you, right now all we have is the pool. So if you bought a pool pass for the summer and Wednesday gets rained out, you're not getting any money back. That's what that means.
What if you move away?
That's the next one, changes in personal plans prevent or shorten participation. That was your decision, no money back. Okay. Required information provided during registration was inaccurate or incomplete. We've run into problems where people have not necessarily disclosed all of the, I'll say, behavioral issues with some of the campers, and it's caused problems, and we've gotten into refund situations, and we really need, for the safety of the campers or the swimmers or whatever, and everybody, we need everything.
Do you mean, for example, that a camper has been asked to leave and you didn't refund because not all the information was disclosed?
Part of the reason was, in one of the situations, we didn't staff properly because we didn't understand the particular needs of a particular individual.
Okay.
And so that caused problems for the staff and other campers.
Trickle down.
Yeah, and so if we know ahead of time what we have to set up for, then we can do that, we can accommodate.
But if we don't and we can't accommodate, we can't refund.
Well, it shouldn't be our fault.
No, I'm agreeing,
yeah,
I'm just
Yeah,
clarifying.
it's, if you didn't tell us, there's not, you can't hold us accountable.
Okay, fair, that's, I'm clarifying, yeah.
Then the last one is personal preferences. You know, if you don't like the way we're doing something, or you don't like the people that are doing it, that's not a reason to get a refund. So that's the no refund part of it. The full refund is that we canceled the offering. You know, we canceled it, so we're going to give you your money back. Or we changed the dates of the offering, so something was supposed to have been, say, the week of July 4th, and we changed it to October. Then you had scheduled to be there on July 4th, so we changed it, so we'll give you your money back. Right, that was it. Now the partial refunds get a little more interesting. This one is a part of a program was canceled. We always have a problem, like on a, let's say, a Wednesday afternoon, we have to close the camp. And so that's, the camper gets to go to camp 9 out of the 10 half days. But beyond their, you know, circumstances beyond their control, we had to close the camp. The family has to figure out what to do with the kid, and everybody else is doing other things. So that seems like a fair situation for us to refund a portion of the week's fee because we could not deliver.
Is it prorated, or do we?
Yeah, it's prorated. So
Okay,
that'd be
so
10.
we don't-
That'd be 10%.
We don't take any handling fee for the extra paperwork or anything, just, it's prorated, here's, okay.
They're
Fair, okay, fair enough.
But Bruce, do you have to request that? Or, I mean, I had days when rec was canceled for weather or various things. Would everyone just get a blanket refund, or only those parents that knew enough to ask for it, or?
Are you talking about a weather cancellation?
Well, it could be.
Hurricane, tornado?
Yeah, it could be that way. It could be a pipe broke at the park, and it was a sewage pipe, you know, that kind of a thing. I don't think there's anything wrong with requests, making people requests. We may pass out the requests to expedite, but just that it's automatic, I'm not sure that's the right way to go. Let's see.
Do we still pay the employees in that example?
No, they don't work.
So they're hourly paid employees, not,
Right.
so they only get paid for playing.
They get paid to work. Another example here is, well, we have a safety issue that's kind of what we discussed. And it's got to be verified by the rec committee, because different people have different opinions about what a safety issue is. And there's Board of Health requirements and everything else, but you need somebody to arbitrate those things. And I think the blend of the rec committee, and that's really what they're good at, to arbitrate that kind of a thing.
Bruce, on this one, though, at least I think you've in the past said this is an advisory committee.
Well,
let me just finish. That's it, and we shouldn't interview people. We don't have to interview people because it's just advisory. Here we're giving them power to decide about money, and I would think that's really a town board function. So at least on this one, I think it should come before town board.
Well, have you read the rec law, the local?
No.
Okay. I mean, the rec committee, this is part of the reason why the rec committee is the way the rec committee is, because the town board would grind to a screeching halt potentially with summer. There's so many things going on with rec in summer that if everything had to come to the committee or to the town board,
Nothing would get done.
It's a time saver and an efficiency thing. But I'm okay if you want to say this is at the discretion of the town board instead of the rec committee. I'm fine with this one.
What, all of the refunds or one specifically, Joe?
Just this one is the only one that says as determined by the rec committee.
I'm fine with that. I think the rec committee would appreciate that. Then you'll have to...
But again, if you're saying, Bruce, that this rec committee is more than an advisory body, then maybe we really got to rethink the rec committee.
We haven't been interviewing people, we've been appointing.
Right, on the theory that it's really not like a board, it doesn't have decision-making.
But yeah, I don't know where you're going with this, but I think you're going far grander than it is. The rec committee, for example, schedules fields. You don't want, maybe I'm wrong, maybe you want the town board to be scheduling fields, scheduling pavilions, scheduling, maybe you want that, maybe.
Well, deciding on issuing of money, though, is a different thing
Right.
altogether.
But it's an issue of money based on specific criteria that have been approved by the town board. If you, you know, I'm okay, we can take the rec committee out of all of this.
Well, that
and
would-
I'm
that
just saying
means-
this particular one, that's all we're talking about.
Well, but we haven't got accountability for any of the other ones. We don't have
scheduling
assignments.
the-
Well,
fields,
presumably
I
these
don't-
are automatic. If you fit within this category, you get the money back. This is the only one that seems to
Yeah,
tie into judgment.
right, because of the demonstrable and uncorrected safety.
Right, and I think that's probably a town board.
Okay, I'm fine. We'll make it town board. I don't know how you're gonna, but, okay.
I assume this doesn't come up very often.
Oh, you'd be surprised. You're gonna have fun. Okay, participant repeatedly caused disruption of an offering, and the other one is participant endangered others. These two are basically Board of Health types of things.
But the way this is drafted, it sounds like the bully gets the money back, not the victim.
Yeah, that's the way it's being interpreted, but what it says is if somebody else made my stay unstayable, then I'm getting my money back.
Right, and I'm just saying the wording seems to
Well,
say,
you know, in some cases...
bully gets it back, a participant repeatedly causes. It's really the victim of a...
Okay, that's fine. If that would make
person.
it clearer?
Yeah, I think so.
The
on
victim
both.
of a participant. Okay.
And a victim is endangered by others. Or a camper is...
Yeah, well,
a participant.
it can vary from different programs, so we don't... Then there were some examples. And the final one is the daily rain check policy. And this is that we'll issue prorated rain checks upon participant request if a daily offering is suspended due to weather, equipment failure, or inadequate staffing of any offering that may be resumed at some other date. And the value of the rain check will basically be prorated by what's left in the fee for the day. So in all the other cases, there is no time that they could make up what was taken away from them, so they're getting money back. In this case, there's other time that they could go, so that they're getting a rain check. And all they're doing is getting a discount.
I do recall us taking action on giving refunds before, though.
Yeah, we've given them,
Done that.
but
We have, it's been on,
Yeah.
there's been a voucher
right,
for it,
Right.
and there's been questions on it.
and so this time it was said we wouldn't take action until we got a policy, so here's the policy. So I'm done.
Thank you.
Well, don't we have to move to adopt the policy, or?
So we've made one change, which is item number 2 under partial refunds are not by the Recreation Committee, they're by the town board.
Yeah, and then phrasing on 3 and 4. But maybe we ought to just table it to the next meeting. Maybe you can give us a draft with those changes in it.
Okay.
It's good to have a policy. You okay with tabling it?
I don't care. I'm not the one that's waiting for my money.
Are there people waiting for money?
Yeah,
Would this address it?
yeah. But I can wait.
Well, we haven't had anything brought before us that I know of, except for the one thing.
There's other ones waiting. I think Shelley has them and we're waiting for the policy.
Well, maybe
Would
we
this
should have gotten a
policy-
draft before 4 o'clock or so this afternoon.
Would this policy refund the money?
Huh?
Would this policy refund the money, or would it make the refunds invalid?
In some cases,
Both.
well, it's changed the whole thing. All of these are going to have to be done by the town board when they audit. They're going to have to decide whether to do it or not. So this is fine.
So we are holding over,
Well, we weren't asking for a vote, so.
right? Okay.
Oh,
Okay. All right, so moving on to, on this item?
How much money is involved here that you are talking about typically?
$75.
Is it $5? Is it $10? Is it $500?
Some families are waiting for $420 because of particular situation. The summer's $75 a week, something like that. And if you go for 7 weeks, that's a lot of money if you got a couple kids in it.
look, I don't mind following the draft, in the next 2 weeks, but before we formally adopt something, I think we ought to see the rewording of it. But if people are waiting, the substance of this, subject to the points we gave you, I don't think is controversial. So,
No, I'm fine either way. I mean, for years and years and years, the town has done this without a documented policy. I think we need a documented policy. I'm fine doing this. I think there's a lot of other places we need documented policies, and this is just one. But I'm fine. If we want to wait 2 weeks, we can wait 2 weeks. I'm not arguing with you.
All right, so we'll hold over. Okay, Joe? Okay, next item up for discussion is a liaison reports on which professional services engagements are going to be bid and which are not.
Yeah, this was a couple months ago, I think it was June, we actually talked about this, that we said we wanted to go out and rebid all of these things.
That the
lawyers, the
controller-
engineers.
Controller advised us to do it every couple of years.
Well, yeah, and our procurement policy does as well.
Well, but for professional services, you don't.
If you talk to the controller's office and you exclude professional services just because it's professional services, then you've got a problem, probably.
Well, it's my understanding that we're allowed to, but they have advised us that we should be bidding them out every 2 to 3 years because rates do creep up. Is that correct?
That's part of the reason. The other reason is that, and we lost significant amount of grant opportunity because engineers, the town engineers just took on work, significant amount of work, without being bid out. So the state said, you didn't bid this, we're not going to fund it. And we've had that a couple times with one of our former engineers, town engineers. So they play it different ways. You can't just exclude things. And I think we need to make a conscious decision about this. We're doing it now for budget time. I know Vanderburg Cove, the operator there, we haven't bid in a couple of years. It's only $12,000 or something like that, but maybe it's time.
Yeah, still, you see what happens when we, did our audit and insurance. And
Yeah.
I agree. So do you want to go?
But again, there is a limit on how much we can do physically and mentally. And if it's little potatoes, I think we are going to be involved in a lot of things, and maybe some of it ought to be deferred where we're talking.
That's fine,
Let
but
me
let's-
just finish where we're talking about chicken feed, and some of this really is very small.
But 12,000 isn't small.
Yeah, it's going to go up if we rebid it, I'm sure. But,
If you want to conduct a bid, we already have a bidding process now for our attorneys. We have a budget schedule. We
Are we-
have interviewing.
Are we asking to identify what other areas in the future we'd like to bid out? Is that the purpose?
all I
of this?
want to do is I want to go through every one of these and say, yes, we're going to do it, or no, we're not. If we're
Okay.
not, as a board, what's the reason?
That's great. Will you bring us the list, Bruce? That's a.
I don't have your lists, I have my lists.
He wants to go committee by committee, so.
I want to go liaison by
Oh,
liaison,
yeah.
everything should be
Okay,
covered.
Fine.
Okay.
So have we gotten any place on that yet?
Well, do you want me to start? I have the CAB, which doesn't really have any professional services. I have Web, which does, and we continuously bid them out. We really only have a very small tech support that we hire.
Because of
and-
Drupal?
Because of Drupal and because of other things, and it's a very small committee, and it's a very low hourly rate, and it's an aggregate, not a large amount of money. But, I'm happy, and I will talk to the chair of the committee to make sure, but I know that he does continuously bid out in his searches for Drupal, and then I have Tech, which is the RFP, which I have a marker to put in for the budget, on the budget worksheet, and maybe I'll have to up it a little bit and then see where we come out with the RFP. And yes, we can certainly, as a part of that RFP, we will be looking at our support. We have had a company that we're very happy with, but we should, and it is a part of that, it will be a part of that recommendation for ongoing support and an hourly rate. I'll make sure of that. I have Highway, which is.
But regarding tech, you also have a company that's going to come give us an overview of.
No, if we don't have an RFP, yes, that's a whole other thing. So the tech, we're doing the RFP, and I will make sure that tech service as a continued hourly rate is included in that. Highway has its own superintendent, and she's on top of bidding everything out.
And she's a superintendent, too.
Yes, so it's her superintendent. And then.
Just call me gravel girl.
Really? And then there's Rhinecliff Advisory Board, which doesn't spend any money. They advise us. So I think I'm good. You happy with that? The tech?
Yeah. That's what we've got to do. And, like I said, we're bidding chemicals, we're bidding fuel oil, we're at least looking at it. We'll probably ride on Kathy's for fuel oil, but chemicals we have to bid separately.
Oh, that you're going rec?
That's rec.
Okay.
I'm popping into rec. The mowing contract, we have to discuss whether we could renew that for one more year under the current one, or we could go out to bid on it, or we could get rid of it. That's a discussion that the board has to have as part of the budget.
What is that, a 12,000?
It's 12.8.
12,800.
There's other things that could be mowed, and there's a lot of I've just done the cost estimate for the park when it's built out, what that'll cost. So we know that there'll be some additional expenses there. Waterfront, transfer station, another couple of years, we'll have to do that again, the management of that, or if we want to keep it outsourced. I don't really have any attorneys. The other stuff we bid on the fly as we go. I don't really have much as far as that goes that I can think of. The engineers, that's the only thing, and I'm down to basically the consulting engineer.
What, Tom Mannix?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and he saved us a lot of money, but
It's well spent, I think. It's very.
Yeah.
He's good.
Yeah, he saved us a lot.
As the highway department did too. Parsonage
yeah,
Street
but
Bridge, shout out again.
I think he's been a good
No,
investment,
it's
for all of us.
It's excellent.
For myself, it probably, I don't know how, I mean, the police contract is something we could look at, but we set the budget up, and for the professional job that they do, you can't compete. They're just a great group that there's no way of getting around it, I don't think.
No.
I mean, just to recontract that up, basically what to do, and give some new figures, but we ask the thing is, if we ask for new figures, we're going to ask for, so you're risking raising prices, so.
Well, I think we have to decide how much time. The only alternative we have is not to have local policing, and I don't think that's a good alternative.
Right.
I mean, so yeah. What else?
That's about mine, clerks. For consultants.
Cemetery, is there anything?
Cemetery, that's really, nothing. Fire, but fire's,
We're self-funded district.
there's no consultants with that, just a service. Collaboration, there's nothing, it's just agreements that work in our favor.
Do you have any maintenance contracts, like
We have the
equipment?
roof, we have the roof contract, we have the telephone service, the electrical service, the
Cell phones, is that worth looking at?
cell phones we reduced substantially last year.
Can we get like a family plan or something? Should we? Oh, we did reduce it.
Yeah, that was reduced last year. We know, what else we have? The roof, there's a roof contract, I said that.
Yeah, but that's like $900 or
But
something.
you don't want to switch away from the person who put down the
For $900?
roof, where you have a 25-year warranty on it. It'd be very
We are
foolish.
bidding out, I'll just go back, we are bidding out our general liability again. Our town insurance.
You should do that frequently, yeah.
Well, it's being bid out by NYMAR as well as, privately, which everybody knew about. We discussed this in March and April when I did the workman's comp. So I will have numbers for that. It won't be at the end of this week for the budget, so we could use our current placeholder and then see where it comes in. I should have updated everybody on that, but.
We did go out for the waste, for the toxic, what's that called? The screening process out at the transfer station, the landfill?
Right,
The
yeah.
monitoring that, and we did save money on that. I don't know that it would be time to do that. Maybe next year would be another good time to do that again. Because it goes down if you've had a clean record.
All right.
Historical doesn't really use any. The euthanizing of animals, that's fairly low. The last time I checked, it was the lowest in the area, but we could always, and it's minimal. Zoning, we've gotten John Lyons down quite low, and I don't know that that's possible to go any lower, but that's, I think, all I've got.
On planning, we have the engineer, non-escrow for 2011 was $422, and year-to-date in 2012, it's $92.
Right, but what's the escrow?
The escrow is more, 11,500 year-to-date, 23. And again, the planning board is very satisfied with it, and I think before we start ruffling feathers there, we probably should hear from them. Same thing with the consultant. We're dealing with a very complex law, and there really is special expertise required to navigate yourself through that. And I think the planning board, frankly, is very heavily dependent on that expertise in working its way through the law. 2011 non-escrow was $12,600, and 2012 was $7,000. Again, that is the same rate that he's been charging for 3 or 4 years, the $112 an hour. So I don't think it's worthwhile, but if anyone wants to pursue it, I suggest they talk to Michael Trimble.
Could you well, I mean, that's where this came from, right? Because we say this is the procurement policy. It says we're supposed to go out and check these things. And every year we get to the end of the year and we say, oh, we're not going to do that because we don't have time and we like them. And so this is the time early enough in the year to go out and revalidate that we're getting the right value, and or what the reason is why we're doing what we're doing. And you're saying we don't even want to do that, I think. But let me ask you about the engineering fees, and specifically year after year after year, at the year-end report, we would get this one line item that would say $155,000, $157,000 paid out to the engineer. And it never showed up during the reports during the year, but always at the end. So that's a lot of taxpayer money that's being paid to one firm. And I'm not sure that it's just because they like them that's the fair thing to do for these residents. And I know there's hundreds of residents that go through escrow, but you know.
Well, the hundred and some odd thousand is not escrow. You know, that's Vandenberg Cove, and you've had your own problem.
No, it's not. I'm talking specifically the planning and zoning. Shelley comes up with a report and she says it's engineering fees. It has nothing to do with Vandenberg Cove. It's escrow. It's money paid to an engineering firm out of escrow. I would ask you at least to check it.
I did check it. The number for escrow for 2011 for Morris was $23,064.24.
What was it the year before?
I don't know what it was for 2010. I can ask. I asked for 2011 and 2012 year-to-date. 2012 year-to-date is $11,592.65.
Okay. Well,
you know,
again,
we can ask about 2010.
That's fine, as long as we go through the process and make the conscious decision as the board and not as an individual. Okay, thanks. What's this one?
Right, town board members gathering, proofing, and updating information on their committees for the website.
That's me.
That's Elizabeth.
I'm hoping that you guys can help with this. It's the web committee, including myself. We met and we migrated data. There's a lot more work to do as we were migrating it. We realized that the data we were migrating was obsolete, incomplete,
Incorrect.
and as the web committee, we sort of decided that a good thing for us and the information would be that if each liaison, you guys, were to ride herd on your chairs for your departments and have them deliver us complete information. So I'm hoping that you're willing to do that and get it back to us within 2 to 4 weeks. Yeah, and so I've got, forgive me if some of these are incorrect, but you guys can deal with that. So I've got Jones put all paper clips on everything and has your names on them. We really need, volunteers, who your people on the committees are, the chairs, the contact information, when they were, what their terms are, all of that stuff. So here you go. Thank you.
Wait, there's a sheet in Barb's desk that has all that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's there's more than that. This is for the web. We've printed out the web pages, and we're asking you to go over them committee by committee and have your committees validate the information.
Great. Any further?
Thank you. It'll help.
I'm not assessors, that's Tom.
Well, you could, there are a couple of errors. I said you could swap.
So, Tom,
Just
I don't know,
give
is there
me-
material in here for assessors?
Yep.
So I'll put it in Tom's box.
Okay.
What's BAR?
Board of Assessment Review.
That's Tom.
Well, we don't have to go over it now. I know there are a couple of errors and switching around, so just swap them.
What's OSAH? Office of,
Open space, affordable housing.
That's you.
yeah.
So committee reports, anybody want to, we've been talking about committee stuff anyways.
Didn't we kind of do it?
Pretty much.
Or do we need,
I wanted to let the board know two things on the fire department that was
Well, let's do some committee reports. You want to start with the committee reports? Since you
let you know two things.
Highway Department
Highway
Committee
Department
Report.
will-
Sorry. I just wanted to let you know,
Gravel
because we had talked about it, that the solar panels, the inverters on the roof of the highway department, they have started swapping those out. They arrived today. They actually made the appointment last week, and they did come today. So that is underway. It's begun. It's anticipated that that will take the entire week. For the 100 inverters that are there are going to be swapped for the 200 inverters. So we had talked about it. I just wanted to let you know that it is underway. The other thing that I did want to inform the board was that I did receive confirmation today that the state DOT has removed both flags on the Parsonage Street Bridge because of the work that was done. So I just wanted to let the board know that that's come to completion. So,
Good job on
thank
that,
you.
Kathy.
What is this? Oh, Green Cemetery.
More committee reports?
Committee reports, anything else? Bruce?
I got a whole list.
Go ahead.
Sorry. Recreation, camp and pool programs ran without major incidents, which has been okay for a few years. We had some minor ones, and mostly personality conflicts with a couple of individuals, and we are addressing that. The financials as of July, looks like revenues are about 18% over budget, and expenses are about 40% under. So
Terrific.
we seem to be doing okay there. The committee is working on the 213 calendar of events and ways to increase utilization of the town's recreational facilities and programs. Also, we're extending the basketball season this year. Willie Sanchez is the head coach. He had sign-ups this last weekend, and there's going to be a few extra weeks of it at the high school. And the committee is going to recommend student discounts for the pool next year to help get more kids in there, because it's just not used enough. The transfer station, the transition continues. We've been getting a lot of complaints, like 1 or 2 a week, I would say. It's primarily about the change in schedule. We've updated the website. Joan did that last week, and we got all the contact information, and we set the phone number so it'll go to Royal, because they're the ones with the answers. As of the July financials, revenues...
Bruce, can I just stop you on that one? Royal's been there for about 5 weeks, so I think they have a better idea of the volume. I'm wondering if we should start talking to them as to whether a second day during the week is possible.
Yeah, we can start doing that.
Is there a lot of volume?
It varies. Saturdays are crazy sometimes. Thursdays were not what we thought they would be.
And if we do have a second day, we should open it so that it's during our town business hours.
Why?
Highway department
We've
dropping
got-
stuff
Those problems have been resolved.
We're-
So you're fine with that?
Maintenance is taken care of.
Okay.
All right, I don't know if I said we were 15% under budget for revenues,
18% or 15?
15, and we're 6% over budget. But I think it's because the encumbrances were built on a full year basis and not the October. So I think it's a bookkeeping thing. Royals continuing, we'll get with them. We're going to look at restoring somehow the place out front where people used to drop stuff off and other people would pick it up, reusable types of things. That really is not allowable by DEC. Everything has to be in some kind of a container, so we're going to figure out some way to doing that. But it's a nice thing, and so we're going to try and figure that out.
Free cycle thing.
Yeah. Thompson Mazzarella Park, things seem to be going okay. The engineering firm, the town and village planning boards, the CAB, Winnicky, the grant writer, and consultants, everybody seems to be working in the right direction now. Perk tests and soil borings have been completed, and the Hudsonia habitat study is being arranged. The latest round of the $3.2 million grant applications are being submitted. The nonprofit still hasn't been set up completely to accept donations, but that's getting through. Herman Tejan's doing that. And we've been working with Frost Foundation and Thompson Trust to release the money that they promised us. They have their organizational issues, they have their financial issues, and we have to give them a rock-solid game plan before they're going to let money go. So that's where we are with that. Vanderburg Cove, the DEC payments should arrive if they haven't already. There seems to be some confusion with that. Once we've completed the tree replacement, that's done. That whole thing is done. And we talked.
When you say the DEC money, you mean the about 900,000 that we expect to get?
Yeah. We
should start receiving this. Does it come in one slug, or does it come?
As far as I know, it's going to come in one slug.
I'm sorry, you said the tree replacement sort of marks the end of our responsibility to the cove, or?
All of the improvements and corrections. So that.
Not the maintenance.
No, that's an ongoing kind of thing.
Tom, do you know if we got this 900,000?
We didn't get it yet.
We didn't get
No.
it yet. No.
We also need to get the EFC payment schedule from, nailed down. Shelley's working with them, I hope. And so we know what people are going to get billed each year, because it'll be the same for 30 years. So that's that. As far as waterfront goes, the bollards that were damaged by the Coast Guard have been replaced. The committee's working on the feasibility study, kayak storage, and large vessel docking. The large vessel docking makes a lot of sense because the cruise ships that are on the river would stop there, and there's potentially good revenue with that if they come in and stop for a few hours. That kind of a
hotel or something, or?
Yeah.
I just have a question about Vandenberg Cove. What are the costs not covered by the grant?
The costs not covered were the soft costs.
That's engineering, legal?
Engineering and legal. The engineering there were two reasons for that. One of them, they were much higher than they were supposed to be. The second one was because the procurement wasn't used. And the legal part of it was tied into the easements, so they won't honor anything to do with land acquisition.
They being who?
EFC and DEC.
Okay, and it's around 270,000?
It was 500,000.
The town has put out 500,000?
No, the town has not. The Cove residents have paid over the years 500,000 that is not coming back from.
So the town is not owed any money?
The soft cost type of thing that we discussed, we still have to go through that because there's a lawsuit and there is some money that we may be able to use for that. I think that's a different topic.
Conversation?
Yeah,
okay.
But we should have that conversation soon. I'm babbling on here. Maintenance, the only thing exciting there is that we're working on annual, seasonal, and weekly task schedules because...
That's a good thing. I was wondering, going into budget session if we do have a schedule of what gets done by maintenance? Is there a record of that, or?
Yeah, there's records, but there's also what's really needed is,
Sort of to-do list by?
well, it's to-do lists, and then you can look at your options and your financial things. When we did
It's a lot of work.
the TMP projections for the build out there, I did it with full-time in-house employees, seasonal contract, and something else. I don't know, a prevailing wage. That's what it was.
So you're doing the same thing for maintenance?
Yeah, yeah, we're looking at that, and the range is, you go from, like with TMP, it was $30,000 for something versus $14,000. So this is a pretty big range. I know those aren't big numbers, but over time it's a lot. That's all I'll report.
Gina, anything?
Good, Bruce.
No.
Joe?
Affordable housing, we're working on coming up with a recommendation for it in lieu of fee. At this point, the thinking is that a fee should be attached to each certificate of occupancy and tie it to that. But again, it's just thinking, and there's no concrete proposal.
I had one thing, I'm sorry. I don't know if I said it. The Beneful contest, for
yeah.
that was from Darlene Behrens.
Oh,
She's the
good
one
for
that came
her.
up with that, so. Sorry, Joe.
Is she entering it, or?
I have no idea. I was standing outside and she told me about it.
Okay.
So are we up to a motion to go into executive session to discuss various possible litigation?
Well, if you want to, but my committees are, you want to hear that crap or no? Sorry, just kidding. So anyway, you heard the cemetery committee.
Yeah.
They came up here, we accomplished a few things that have been outstanding for a couple of years with equipment and so on, and the Green Cemetery is moving forward. As you can see, this Seniors Committee on the Aging is working, developing relationships with different groups. I should also remind you that this Rhinebeck at Home, which is sort of evolved from our Committee on the Aging, is having their meeting, of course, on the 19th of September at 2:30. It's a good group, and it should help us with our group, along with Northern Dutchess Caregivers. The van is still being used twice a week, Tuesdays, Fridays. Volunteers are great, looking for more drivers.
You need a specific kind of license to drive?
You don't. It's a 12-seat van, and there's no handicap
A 12 pass?
issues, so it's just a standard driver's license is good. The assessor's office, we've had a pretty large increase of people claiming agricultural exemptions this year. So that's something new, but that is, just so there's no confusion, the Board of Assessment Review approves that, and the town assessor's office is not the one who actually.
What is the process for that, or what is our responsibility?
We really have, I don't believe, any responsibility. There's,
How many new ag exemptions have you?
I can get you those numbers.
I mean,
but
is it
it's thousands of dollars. I could say a couple thousand. But I can get those
I
numbers.
think we're missing some members on the Board of Assessment Review.
Well,
Haven't we had
Richard-
some resignations?
Yeah, Richard Cunningham moved away. Is that the only one? I think.
I thought there might be something else, somebody else
Find out.
didn't want to renew,
I'll find out.
but yeah. I
That
think we
happens
really
in May.
Got to have that board up to full strength.
Yeah. Police is doing the police department is doing a great job for us. We'll have them in here during the budget process. Town attorney, of course, I have them listed as under me. They've decreased their spendings from like 70 grand from '09 to 58 in 2010 to 29 last year, and we're on track to, it was under $11,000 as of July 31st. So we've done pretty good with the oversight on the attorney to the town. Cemetery. And of course, the town clerk we're interviewing for. That's pretty much it for now. So with that, we can motion to adjourn into
A motion to go into executive session.
on a couple items. One is for discussion of a settlement discussion related to an old litigation. And another one is a personnel issue, I believe, right?
Yes.
Trying to think of the term, but Public Officers Law 103, something in reference to, I don't have this in front of me, I'm sorry. Let me see, maybe I do.
Are we making any decisions?
We shouldn't be making any decisions.
Well,
Discussing.
we may be making a decision. And I think is to resolve a query from our attorney with respect to a particular matter he's working on relating to a safety issue or possible safety issue.
All right, motion and a second.
Motion?
Second.
All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Opposed? So moved. Okay, thank you very much.